So if you miss the class, you can just watch the recordings yourself. All right, let's go through. If you don't have, if you have any question, stop me anytime, all right? So let's go through our syllabus. It's a long syllabus, but I'm going to just cover some important things. So for the material-wise, we're going through chapter 1 up to 11. So chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We skip chapter 8. Chapter 8 is not on our syllabus. Then chapter 9, chapter 10, chapter 11, which means this course is heavy. The material of this course is super, super heavy. And this course is meant to help you to be ready for your calculus class. All right? Doesn't matter what kind of major you have to take a basic calculus class. It's a super important class. But even more important than calculus, this course, pre-calculus, is even more important than calculus. Because if we do not build this strong base of understanding functions, it will be super difficult for us to understand the calculus. But if we build a strong base for this class, for pre-calculus, which means all about functions, it's very useful for life. Doesn't matter what kind of major you have. In our life, it's all about functions. We build models, right, for life. We use mathematical models. What are those models? Most of them are functions. So it's really important to understand functions, which is the focus of this course. Okay, it's a super, super important course. So we're going to talk about linear functions. I think everybody knows this already, but we're just talking about it in the context of functions. Linear functions, quadratic functions, polynomial functions, or rational functions, exponential functions, compositional functions, inverse functions, or combinational functions, and logarithmic functions, and we talk about transformations of functions. We basically talk about basic forms of functions, then the similar functions, all transformations of the basic functions. So it's very important to remember the formula for each function. Then trigonometry function. And that's about it. This 6 types of functions. It's all about these 6 types of functions. Then some manipulation of functions. Now let's talk about our grading. This is super important. Let's talk about our assignments. Assignments is the Wiley Plus. Most people register already. If you have not registered, right, go to the content, go to CUNY Blackboard and the content. I put there a file. All right, the file gives you an idea of this course to register for this course. So wileyplus.com. Okay, now let's talk about our grading policy. For now, the grading policy is this: attendance and participation 20%. Let me see if anyone has any questions. Okay, someone cannot hear. Tijeda, you cannot hear me? Tijeda, can you hear me? Okay, we have 21 students now. How many people can hear me? How many people cannot hear me? Let's see how many people can hear me. Okay, Jeremy can. 1, 2, 3. Okay, most of you can. Okay, most people can hear me. So check your, check your technology. All right. So that means it's not the problem is not here. All right. So this is an idea. So you have to exit and then log back in. Okay. Take the advice here. Okay. Anyway. So grading for now, attendance plus participation 20%. Okay. Attendance is you are here, right? And the participation means you ask me questions or I ask you questions and you offer me answers. Then homework assignments 30%. Then final exam 30%. I was thinking about this project. All right, this project may be option to be presentations. Okay, because I don't want to add anything. It would be ideal to do a project to use one of the math model to model a life situation. As we go along, we will figure out this. To change project to be presentation. Presentation means sometimes I assign some work when we meet. Then, maybe I call people names. Maybe you volunteer to solve the problem. So in that case, we don't have to do extra work like a project. Yes, attendance counts towards our grade. Attendance only requires you meet me on Monday. No. Wednesday and Fridays. Okay. Attendance equals to Wednesday plus Friday. All right. Follow. So attendance equals Wednesday and Friday. We're meeting through this algebra, and according to government calendar. What if we cannot make it to a class? Just asking. So that means you won't have this 20% attendance grades. Depends on how many classes you are missing. So you won't get a full 20% for attendance and plus participation. All right. But if you do miss class, you still can watch the video. All right. I'll try to record a video for every class. Okay. Any other questions?
Can I ask a question, right?
Yes.
But I thought it wasn't supposed to be mandatory to attend a class at a fixed time. I'm just saying because, I mean, that was what I thought with the beginning of the class and stuff like that. But now that it's 20% of a grade, that means we necessarily have to attend because 20% is a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because you registered for this class, right? You're supposed to make yourself available for this time. Right? If you check for yourself, is the time conflicts with your work?
Yeah.
Right?
Kind of sometimes.
Right.
Exactly that word.
Yeah, we have to.
Word.
Yeah, we have to meet sometimes because I need to help you guys to learn this material. Okay, let me see any other questions.
Okay.
Classes are supposed to be asynchronous. That's why we only meet twice. We don't meet 4 times. We only meet 2 times. Right? We meet on Wednesdays and Fridays. Sometimes if you really do have to miss, we'll just try your best. All right, try your best because we need to meet online for me to understand where you are, to see if you really understand the material. All right. And also final. Final will be like this. Final, I need to see everybody's face. Right. Okay. Any other questions? Right. Do check. So do check to see if you have conflicts with the time. Right. If you do not attend live, right, yes, you will lose some points on the 20% of attendance and participation. Yes. Okay. Any other questions? Again, ideally, you have a quiet room so you can study. Make yourself available for this time twice, Wednesday and Friday, 11:30 to 1. You by yourself in a quiet room so we can study together. All right. Oh, Carol, if you're working right now, then maybe you consider to switch a class. All right. Because if you register for this class, it cannot be totally I don't know, I don't know how to solve your problem because, the time is 11:30 to 1 o'clock, right? And we are not meeting 4 times in a week. We're only meeting 2 times, right? If you stay in this class, you cannot, make here, you won't get 20% of the attendance and participation grades. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know, you see if you can register for another class or something like that. Okay, any other questions? For the Valley Plus, you paid, okay. What do you mean? I do not understand. You paid, right? You paid, so you have access everything. Oh yes, Valley Plus you have to do. I haven't talked about homework yet, right? Okay, do you have to pay for Valley Plus? I remember one semester, because I don't teach this course every semester. But the previous semester I taught, what's her name? Rebecca. Probably most of you know her. Rebecca told me it's free for students. I was so happy to hear that. So it was $25. So I don't know if you have to pay for this semester. Oh, it's $69? Oh, because this is out of my hand. I have no control over this. And they changed the platform for this semester. The whole platform is new. The whole platform is new to me because last semester I did not teach this course. The previous semester I taught was the old one, was the 5th edition. Now it's the 6th edition. So everything's new. Right. I'm sorry, if you have to pay for it, ask your counselor or your advisor, to see if they can help you. But this is out of my hand. I have no control over this. Okay, any other questions? But for one thing is you have to do homework, and this homework is online. It's through Valley Plus. So the homework grades, the homework assignments is 30% of your grades. It's 30% of your grades. And the final is 30%. And your presentation will be 20%. Work project, whichever you prefer. All right, I have 20 students, so I'm still missing 10 students. Hopefully they can watch this video later. Okay, let's see Valley Plus. Let me show you let me stop sharing this. Let me share Weatherly Plus with you. So once you register, you go into the classroom, it looks like this. All right, so you see this one, the current one. The current one is this one, Math 201. That's my initial Chen 2024. So you just click in. For me, I'm going to use this platform for our class. All right, it's still loading, so I have to wait a little bit. I've talked to people in this website for many times because everything is new to me. So I follow this one. I click in, so my interface is this. I do not know from your side, what do you see? For me, so we click in, I click into the chapter 1, section 1, talking about functions and function notations. So this is what we're going to cover today. You don't see anything yet? Yeah, I have been talking to people in the website because Luke sent me many times about the problem. Oh, they told me this. When I was talking to them, one of them told me this. Because many of them give me different information. I think it's also new for them. They're still trying to figure out. And I already find many bugs. I told them all those bugs for this platform. And one of them told me this. I'm not sure if it's true. And he said, when you register for this class, they ask you to see if you want an e-textbook. He said, if you choose to have an e-textbook, they will send you a link. They will send you a link through your email to your email. Then you click the link, you get a textbook. This is one of them told me this. So I'm not even sure that's totally true. Let me see. It says that the instructor did not publish anything. Okay, that's what I have too. That's I have talking to them many times for this one. They have no solutions for me. Okay, let me show you a problem. The problem is if I go into settings, you see on the top, course is unpublished. However, when I go to, because I know I published this course, you see, you go to course administration, it says course is published. Course is published. So I told them this bug, and they changed a couple of people. So a couple of people was online with me. They couldn't figure out this problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep talking to them. Hopefully one of them can fix this problem. All right. Otherwise, so for today, what I'm going to do is this. Okay, I think Tijeta still cannot hear me. Okay, so this is a bug for the platform. All right, so I published the course, and in the administration, course administration shows course is published, but in the course setting, the course setting shows course is unpublished, and they do not give me any way to publish from here. So I can publish the course through administration, but it still shows unpublished. So I have to talk to them again to see if it's possible to solve this problem. If they cannot solve this problem, I may have to choose another textbook. All right. So I will tell you through emails, through your government emails, and I'll put on Blackboard also. All right, so this is a huge problem. Let me see. Maybe, let me see if I can find the textbook right away. If I can find the textbook right away, maybe we just change the textbook and we just forget about them. I'm trying to find another textbook now. It's another pre-calculus course. Let me see, maybe I can find. Oh, no, okay. If we have a problem, we have to change. I will ask them to return your money, all right? To refund or something like that. This is chaotic. This is chaotic. Can we use my open math? My open math. Let me see. Yeah, we may do that. Because I haven't used that for a long time. I don't know if even if you allow me to log in. Okay. Well, that's another right. But maybe we can use my open math. Yeah, if we do not, if in the end we choose to not, if they cannot solve the problem, in the end we choose not to use Wiley Plus, they have to return the money. All right, that's no doubt. That's no doubt. Okay, let me share a new page with you. So forget about this now. Forget about the Wiley Plus now. Oh, okay. I'll try my open math. Then my open math. Let me share with you. I need to figure out my open math. Dr. Fisher is an expert on the site. Okay, I'll send an email to Dr. Fisher to asking him. Okay, for today, let's talk about functions, all right? So temporarily, I'm going to use this book. Let me share with you. There are many, many pre-calculus textbooks. All right, so for today, I'm going to use this one. You know, they're very similar. Okay, we'll start from chapter 2 here. Let's talk about functions. Okay, what is a function? How do I understand function? Some basic ideas. Oh, actually, before I go into functions, I saw these guys. These guys are important. Factoring, right? This looks like a polynomial to be able to factor. And those are factoring formulas. This first one called the difference of two squares. A squared minus b squared equals a minus b times a plus b. And later on, I'm going to post this textbook, all right, on Blackboard and the content. So you can check this one out. Those are important properties. Perfect squares with addition, perfect squares with subtraction, difference of cubes, okay, sum of cubes. Those are important formulas. Okay, you have to have this to go into calculus classes. Yeah, I'm going to put this textbook and the content, all right? Oops, no, forget about this. Right, because why we need to know the 7 formulas I was mentioning about. Because when we deal with rational functions we're going to talk about later, we can use simplification. If we have something in the numerator and the same thing in the denominator, something divided by itself becomes 1. See, in this case, x minus 1 as a factor in the numerator, x minus 1 as a factor in the denominator. Now we have something divided by itself that becomes 1. So this expression is simplified to be this. Okay? So that for simplification, we need the formulas I mentioned before. Yeah, for those ones, it's also important, right? If we have a parenthesis inside, we have a times b, parenthesis squared, that means a is being squared, b is being squared. Right? Square root, we can split into 2 square roots. Same thing here. If we multiply 2 fractions, we multiply numerator with numerator, denominator with denominator. If we have a factor in the numerator, a same factor in the denominator, they cancel out to be 1. Something divided by itself to be 1. So this becomes b. A raised by -1 means 1 over a. B raised by -1 means 1 over b. We can put together as parentheses, put them inside the parentheses, then both of them raised by -1. Right? So if you feel yourself not strong on those materials, I strongly suggest you to go over this. Okay, since I'm going to put this textbook on under content in CUNY Blackboard. Those algebra skills are super important. Oops. Zero properties, right? If two expression can be factored as two factors, then we can use this zero property to solve. Quadratic formula. Okay, looks good. All right, let's go to functions. What is this? Oh, modeling with equations or modeling with functions. But for our course, we focus on functions. Inequalities. All right, let's talk about a little bit about this coordinate geometry. So we're working with a plane, right? What is a plane? A plane has two real number lines. So one real number line is for x-axis. Another real number line is for y-axis, right? So we can mark any real number on this line. And we put 0 in the middle. 0 in the middle for x-axis, 0 in the middle for y-axis, and then we give a name. We call the origin. So this is the starting point for x-axis, for y-axis. We call the origin. Of course, on the right of x-axis, positive values. On the top y-axis, positive values. Downward, below x-axis, negative y values. On the left-hand side of y-axis, x value will be negative. We call this 4 quadrants. So one plane, so Cartesian plane, has 4 quadrants. First quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. So we go counterclockwise. So counterclockwise. Let me see if I can write on this. Bookmarks. Where is my mark? I guess it doesn't give me marker. Okay, so 4 quadrants. Right, in the first quadrant, any point, x value being positive, y value being positive. Second quadrant, x value is negative, but y value positive. Third quadrant, both x and y values are negative. Fourth quadrant, x value positive, but y value negative. All right, let's see these graphs. So give us any equation, we can graph it, because we can give x some value, come out with a y value. We solve the equation, we have y value. We can draw, all the points on the plane. So get a graph. we get a graph of the equation. We get a graph of the equation. But the graph of the equation does not have to be functions. We're going to talk about functions. Let's see this circle. This circle with radius 5, center at the origin, right? So this is the equation. The equation is x squared plus y squared equals to 25. Well, when the center of the circle is not at the origin, but somewhere else, like this, the center of this circle is at the point 2, negative 1, but also with radius of 5. So the equation is x minus 2 squared plus 1, y minus negative 1 becomes y plus 1 squared equals to 25. So this is the equation of a circle with radius 5 centered at 2, negative 1. So this circle is the graph of this equation, but this is not a function. We're going to talk about why this is not a function. So for any equations of two variables, we can draw a graph on the plane. Well, this will be equation. Right? This is the equation x equals y squared. But it's not a function, x equals y squared. This is also an equation. This equation is y equals to x cubed minus 9x. And this equation is a function. This equation is not a function. We are going to talk about how to find out if an equation is a function or not a function. There are many programs online. We can use it, the apps. We can use the apps to graph an equation of two variables. Or some apps may show 3D pictures, so we can graph with two variables. I think that this one probably all of us know this, right? How to represent a line y equals to mx plus b form. So we know the slope equals to rise over run. What is the rise over run? Rise is the difference between the y value. Run is the difference between x value. That's the slope. Give us any 2 points, right? We can write the equation for the line passing the 2 points by finding its slope by plugging 1 point. This is from high school, right? Which we'll call this y equals mx plus b. And we will see the linear function. This is a linear function, but we will use different notation to represent a line. Linear function means a straight line. And we will use different notation, but the idea is still the same. Making models, right? To learn math, one of the purposes is to use the mathematical idea solve daily life problem or life problems. All right, I think the chapter 1 is pretty good. So if you have time, if you want to build a strong math foundation, algebra skills, go through the first chapter. All right, so our course is all about functions. So let's see, what is a function? This the same functions all around us, right? Our life is all about functions. Some functions are linear, some functions are quadratic. Well, let's talk about actually one thing all of us know. Think about you and me, right? Standing like maybe 6 feet apart. I toss a ball to you, then you toss a ball back to me. What are we doing? The trajectory of the ball is a parabola, it's a downward parabola, it's a quadratic function. Or maybe if you swim, when you dive into the water, right? When you dive into the water, you also make a function. The function is an upward parabola. It's also a quadratic function. So, okay, let's see the definition of a function. A function f, okay. In the whole world, people use f of x to represent a function, right? People use the letter f to represent a function. So f of x means the function in terms of x. Anything appears in the equation are considered as a number but x. Only x is a variable. So function f is a rule, okay, or some people say it's a relation. So we want to know this rule, or we want to know the relation. What kind of relation? Well, what kind of rule? Assigns to each element x. X is a free variable, independent. In a set A, exactly one element called f of x. Well, what does this mean? This means, think about x equals to 1. If x equals to 1, we can give 1 another value. We can make maybe f of x equals to 2. Right? But then when x equals to 3, we cannot make f of 3 also to be 2. That's no. Right? If every value of x only going to one value of y, and this rule makes a function, or this relation is a function, but not the opposite. Well, the opposite is okay. Let's see if I assign, so let's see we have a column of x, right? The x value can be 1, can be 2, can be 3, all going to 20. The y value is all 20, that's fine. That's still a function. It's not a one-to-one function, but a one-to-many function. Think about this scenario. Think about all of us right now, right? Let's see how many of us right now. 23, 24, including me, 24 of us now. And if we treat our age as a variable x, let's see, let's call our age variable x now, right? So let's see then y, which is f of x. So basically we have two sets of value to consider. And then the first set we're going to call domain. Domain means the value of x. Then the range means the value of f of x. All right, let's see in this classroom. Maybe you're 18, maybe some of you 19, maybe some of you 20, maybe some of you 21, right? That's your age. Oh no, let's put this 18 in the domain, in the range, in f of x. So let me give you some numbers, right? Let's maybe by alphabetical order of your last name, I'll assign you some numbers. The first person would be 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. So how many of us? How many of you? 23 of you. So each of you get a number. So the 23 of you. So I'm going to use those numbers as x, your name. Let's see your name, who you are. Okay, just your name. So x is your name. And I use number to represent. I use 1, use 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth to represent each one of you. Now consider f of x, the function in terms of your name. The function is your age. So f of x is your age. You might be 18, you might be 19, you might be 20, you might be 21, so on and so forth, right? So think about yourself. How many age can you have? You can only have one age, right? Maybe you're 18. If you're 18, let's say if you're 18, you know, your name on top of the list of this class, you are assigned the number 1. So your number is number 1. Then your age is 18. So that means a 1 corresponding to 18. Or maybe next person, his number is 2. And he might be 18 also, right? Let's say he is also 18, right? 2 people in this classroom have the same age. That's totally fine. That's reasonable. So that's fine. That makes a function. But now let's see up to number 3. Number 3, he's saying, oh, I have 2 ages, right? I'm 18, also I'm 19. Is it possible? No, that's impossible, right? So that doesn't function. So because it's not impossible in life, so in this kind of situation, does not make a function. I will show you some examples of this. All right, one x value does give us two y values. But for now, we can use name and age as an example to remember this rule, this relation. So this rule makes the two sets of values a function. A function is always in between of one value towards a value. We call this real value function. If you give me an x value, f of x is another value. So that's why here says, assigns each x exactly one element in y or in f of x. All right. So imagine we have two sets. Use why I cannot draw here? Or maybe because this is a PDF file. This is only for this first class. I'll figure out how to draw here. Doesn't allow me to draw anyway. Okay, so for each x in the domain, only has one value, only corresponding to one value in the range we call y value. All right. So we use this notation. So range of f is a set. So this wiggly parenthesis means a set. Set of all those f of x when x in the domain. Okay, A represents the domain. It's kind of a dry. Think about this machine. So function is like a machine. Think about the vending machine. Okay, vending machine is a good example. If we input $1 there, then we choose a button. Choose a button is like the button is a function. Maybe we choose water, right? Then the function is saying, okay, give me $1, I give you a bottle of water. So that's the function, the button. Think about the vending machine, right? You insert $1, you press the water button, then output a bottle of water for you. So imagine that. Imagine this x, when you input, right, the $1 you input, you can only get one thing, right? You either get the $1 for water, or maybe you get $1 for some snack. You may not be able to receive both the water and the snack at the same time simultaneously. Okay, see now, so this is another way to understand. So use the machine, analogy to understand the function, or use the two sets to understand the function. So imagine this is a domain. The first set is a domain, all x values, all possible x values. And the second set is the range, the f of x values. Right? Imagine this is 1, 2, 3. All right, all of you, right, according to your last name, alphabetical order, your last name, maybe your number is 1, 2, 3, then we will have 23 of you here. Then the second one, imagine those are your age, right? Maybe some of you are 18, some of you are 19, some of you are 20. Think about that. So a person can only have one age, right? A person cannot have two ages. That's a function. Let's see this example. This example is saying, well, f of x equals x squared plus 4. This is a function, right? So A is saying express in words how f acts on the input x to produce the output f of x, right? How does this function act? What does this function act? This function is saying, if you hand me something that's an input, if you give me x, I'm going to square the x, then add 4 to it, right? If you hand me 1, I'm going to square 1 plus 4 to it. I get 5. If you input 2, I'm going to square 2, get 4, then plus 4 to it, I get 8. So this is a function. So that's how we use words to express, right? What does this function do? This function square the input, add 4 to it. Well, let's evaluate f of 3. Well, f of 3, we do 3 squared plus 4. Well, what's 3 squared? 9. What's 9 plus 4? 13. So I have here, f of 3 equals to 3 squared plus 4, 13. What's f of negative 2? We do negative 2 squared. Also, negative 2 squared means negative 2 times negative 2 become positive 4. Positive 4 plus 4, that's 8. Well, f of square root of 5, so x equals the square root of 5. We square root of 5. That becomes 5. Square and square root opposite operations, like a plus and minus, right? If we plus 2, we minus 2, as if we didn't do anything. If we square root 5, then we square as if we didn't do anything. Square, square root, opposite operation. Like multiplication and division, right? If we multiply by 5, then we divide by 5, we didn't do anything. So square, square root, opposite operation. So that's 5. 5 plus 4, that's 9. 3, find the domain and range of f. Well, domain means, what kind of function, what kind of x value works for this function? Right? We see 3 works, negative 2 works, square root of 5 works. Well, square root of 5 is called irrational numbers. Right? All the numbers on x-axis, all real numbers on x-axis works for this function. So the domain is all real numbers. What about range? Range, let's think. 4 is a constant number. What is the smallest value of x squared? If x is positive, of course we get a positive number. If x is negative, x squared is still positive number. So the smallest value of x squared is 0. So 0 plus 4 is 4. So that means the range of this function is a 4 or 4 and above. 4 up to infinity. So how do we use mathematical notation to represent the idea? So the domain is every real number. So the domain of f is all real numbers. All right? All real numbers. But the range is this. It's greater than or equal to 4. So we use the interval notation, including 4. Bracket means including 4. 4 and above. Okay? Which means, so this interval notation means a number greater than or equal to 4. So we use this notation. This is called interval notation. Interval notation. All right, so that's the idea of domain and range. Anyone has any questions? So that's about what is a function, and function, the x value makes domain, the y value makes range. Evaluate function, we just plug in the value of x. Right? Let's see this function. This function is defined as 3x squared plus x minus 5. In words, this is saying, if you hand me x, if you give me x, I'm going to square the x, multiply by 3, then add the x, then subtract 5. Right? So let's evaluate some values. So let's evaluate x equals negative 2, which is plug in x equals negative 2. So we do negative 2 squared multiplied by 3 plus negative 2 minus 5. The negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 add negative 2 is 12 minus 2, which is 10. 10 minus 5, which is 5. Or f of 0, now x equals 0. We just put a 0 in the x spot. 0 squared is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. Plus 0 minus 5, that's negative 5. Well, x equals 4. We just do 4 squared times 3 plus 4 minus 5. 4 squared, 16. 16 times 3, 48. 48 plus 4, 52. 52 minus 5, 47. Or half, x equals a half. We do half square, that's 1/4. 3 times 1/4, that's 3/4. Plus half minus 5. We do that, we get negative 15/4. If anyone has any questions, feel free to stop me anytime. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going, all right? A piecewise functions. Piecewise function means this. We split the domain into different parts, then assign the function. So this function is saying if the x value is in between of 0 and 400, including 0 and 400, assign it to be 39. We call this constant function. When x value is in between 0 and 400, the function value is 39. When x is greater than 400, follow this function. What kind of function this? Later on, we're going to call this a linear function, right? Linear function. If you hand me x, I'm going to subtract 400 from it, then multiply by 0.2, then add 39 to it. So piecewise function, we cut the domain in different parts. So see here, if it's under 400, we assign to be 39. So C of 100 is 39. Right? C of 10 is 39. As long as the number is in between 0 and 400 included, 0 and 400, the function value is 39. And 400 is still in the set, right? Still 39. 480 is greater than 400, so we just plug in the second part. So we do C of 400. 400 minus 400, we get 80. 80 times 0.2, we get 16. 16 add 39, we get 55. That's evaluation with the numbers. We can also evaluate a function with another variable. All right, so the function is defined as 2x squared plus 3x minus 1. Now we can evaluate f of a. Well, a is still a letter, but we consider, it's a mathematical idea, we consider a as a number. So what do? We just change x to be a. So we square whatever the input is, we square a multiplied by 2 plus 3 times a minus 1. All right? We just substitute a into x. Well, f of negative a, we do the same thing. We do negative a squared, which is a squared, so multiplied by 2, plus 3 times negative a, which is a minus 3a, then minus 1. So we get 2a squared minus 3a minus 1. Now, for C, the input is a little bit difficult. So f of a plus h. So the input x is a plus h. There's two terms. What do? We do the same thing. So now you give me a plus h. I'm going to square a plus h, multiply by 2, plus 3 times a plus h, minus 1. Then let's simplify a little bit. So this is perfect square with addition. That means the first one square, we get a square. The second one square, we get h square. Then 2 times the product of the first one, second one, is 2ah. So this is perfect square. Then multiply by 2. Then add 3 times a plus h minus 1. We simplify, we have 2a squared plus 4ah plus 2h squared plus a plus 3h minus 1. Well, let's see, do we have like terms? We don't have like terms. It cannot be simplified. Just keep like this. Now D. Let's do, D is saying, okay, do f of a plus h minus f of a, then divide by h. Well, require h cannot be 0. So let's do that. We have f of a plus h now. We have f of a. Let's subtract. Subtract f of a from f of a plus h. That cancels out 2a squared, 3a, and minus 1. And we're left with 4ah plus 2h squared plus 3h. We're left out with these 3 terms after we do the subtraction. Then every term has h. So we factor out h. Then h as a factor in the numerator cancels out with the denominator. So we're left with 4a plus 2h plus 3. So D is super important for calculus class. All right. In calculus class, we're going to call this difference quotient. Difference quotient. So today I'm going to assign you some homework, okay, about evaluation of function. And at the beginning, you may struggle a little bit with the D kind of question, but this is super important, right? Again, if you have any question, feel free to stop me anytime. And the second part is find the domain of functions. Right? So we have this kind of function, this kind of function, this kind of function. So we want to find what kind of x value works for this. So it means we need to find out when x is not equal to, when the denominator cannot be 0. So the domain for rational functions means the denominator cannot be 0. Well, for b means inside the square root cannot be negative, right? We don't square root of negative number in real number system. And again, this c is combined with 2. So it's inside the square root, it's also in the denominator. So we need to consider it cannot be 0, it cannot be negative. So it means this has to be positive. This has to be positive. Well, let's see the first one. So we want to factor out the denominator. So we factor out x, we have x minus 1 inside the parentheses, right? So when will this denominator will be 0? If x is 0, the denominator is 0. So that means x cannot be 0. Also, when x equals 1, the denominator will be 0. So that means x cannot be 1. So this function works with all real numbers, but 0 and 1. So we use this, we can use this set notation to represent the domain, or we use the interval notation. The interval notation says, okay, all the numbers less than 0 works for this function. All the numbers in between 0 and 1 exclude 0 and 1 work for this function. All the numbers bigger than 1 works for this function. All right, we can use either notation. So those two notations are equivalent. So the first one called set notation, S-E-T, set notation. And the second one is called interval notation. Okay, either notation works. Let's see C. Let's see B. So the first one, what's the domain? The domain is x cannot be 0, x cannot be 1, but all other real numbers. We said because 9 minus x squared is inside the square root, so it cannot be negative. Cannot be negative means it has to be greater than or equal to 0. So this is the inequality. Solve this inequality. We get x is in between -3 and 3. So that means the domain of x is from -3 up to 3. So we use bracket. Bracket means -3 and 3 are included. Okay, for c is the denominator cannot be 0. Inside the square root cannot be negative. So we say t plus 1 has to be positive. Has to be positive in mathematics means greater than 0. Another inequality. Solve this inequality. We say t has to be greater than -1. We use set notation. We could use this t greater than -1 or interval notation from -1 above, not including -1. So we use open parentheses. Okay, any questions? So basically 2 things, all right, 3 things. So today, we like to understand what makes a function, right? For each x value, for each x value can only correspond to one function value. This kind of relation makes a function. And then we talk about evaluate a function. Give x a real number, we're able to calculate the function value f of x. And 3, give us a function, we should be able to find out its domain or and range later. Okay, here says 4 ways to represent a function. We could use a table value to represent a function. We could use a graph to represent a function. Of course, we could use words to represent a function. Let's see this function. Anybody recognize this function? Pi r squared. It's a circle, right? Think about f of r equals the area of a circle, pi r squared. So this is a function in terms of r, in terms of the radius. Pi is a constant. So this function represents the area of a circle. Okay, 4 ways to represent a function. We can use words to represent a function. This example, to convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit, multiply the Celsius temperature by 9/5, then add 32 to it. Right? So we can write f of c like this. Right? So this is Celsius. Right? Fahrenheit, we use F to represent. Celsius, we use C to represent. So change Celsius to Fahrenheit. We multiply Celsius with 9/5. Then we add 32 to it. So that's the use of words. We also can use graph. Right? We can use algebraic expressions. Right? These will be algebraic expressions for changing Celsius to Fahrenheit. You may challenge yourself to make a C of F to change Fahrenheit into Celsius. We can use table values to represent a function. So these are 4 ways to represent a function, right? We could use words to represent a function. We could use a graph to represent a function. We could use algebraic expression or equation to represent a function. We could use the table values to represent a function. But the first column is the variable values. The second column is the function values. This shows some example expression, table value. In this table value is in 40 degrees in Fahrenheit correspond, or let's go from this way. -10 Celsius corresponding to 14 in Fahrenheit. 0 in Celsius representing 32 in Fahrenheit. 10 in Celsius representing 50 in Fahrenheit, so on and so forth, right? You see each C value, Celsius value, or X value go to each Y value. So -10 to 14, only one value, 0 to 32, so on and so forth. Well, we can graph it. We can graph all those x and y value, x and f of x, right, become a points. Then we can put all those points on the graph. Then when we connect it, it's a linear function. Right? It's a straight line. It's a straight line. Okay, let's see. So so any questions? Any questions so far? So I'm going to assign you some work, all right? So this is the first class, and from next class on, I would hope I usually assign you some work in class, right? Then I give probably like 10 minutes to do it. Then I would like to call on people, or you may volunteer to show your work. That's the participation part. Okay, but for today, let's forget about that. Let me assign you some homework. Once you finish your homework, you can send to my email, all right? You take a picture, you send to my email. So today's homework, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, all those questions are so good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 22. Let me write down here, 1 up to 4. Maybe 5 and 7, 5 and 8. 5, 8. Five, 8, 17, 20. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to give it 10 because we're not going to meet on Friday. I'm also going to post this on CUNY Blackboard also, right? So 20, 21. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So one more.
It's already,
I'm sorry, it's already 10?
yeah.
1,
You
2,
said
3, 4, 5,
5,
6, 7,
6,
8,
7,
9, 10.
8.
Oh, you're right, already 10. Let me
Thank
see.
you.
1, 2, 4.
21.
You know what? Maybe the first one, if the function is given by from the function set of points called, forget about 2. So number 1, which of the following function are 5 in the domain? Okay, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because I want you to be able to do some questions about domain. Now, domain of the function, okay. 49, 46, 49. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. Okay, 1, 3, 4. Let me type in the chat. Also, I'm going to post it online also. Post it on Blackboard. So 1. Yes, I'm going to post this textbook and the content in Blackboard. So 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 17, 20, 21, 46, 49. Okay, great. All right. Anybody has any question?
Okay, I would like to ask a question.
Yeah.
So in addition to Sarah's question, do we just work on the problems in our on in our notebook or else, and then we take a pictures and submit it, or how do we do it? How do we work on them?
Yeah. You take pictures, send to my email. You take pictures of your homework, send to qchan@garmin.cuny.edu.
Got that.
Okay. And the title, you put on subject, homework with a number, all right? Let's see, homework number 1. Like that. The next homework is homework number 2. Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
So we don't meet on Friday? This Friday only, or on
Yeah,
Friday?
this Friday only. We follow, but so keep a CUNY calendar with you. Keep a Garmin calendar with you. So follow the calendar, all right?
Question.
So,
But do check. So occasionally I send you emails for announcements, or I put under. So check CUNY Blackboard content or any updates. All right.
Also, excuse me.
Yeah.
Where can we find this homework exactly?
Oh, I'm going. So under content. Let me do it actually right now. Okay. So you follow me. Let me see. So this is practice. So let me go back. Let me share with you. Share content. So I'm going to share. Oops, doesn't show content right here. So can you see it? Can you see my? So my screen shows under the content, right? Oops. Let me sign back in. So when I sign into this class, you see homepage, you see content. I also teach at Hunter. At Hunter, they give me Spark announcements, but here we don't have it. We don't have announcements. So I'm going to put everything under content.
Okay.
My announcements and this textbook. So for now, let me build a new one. For file, let's see, textbook. Textbook, right? I'm going to browse my computer. And this should give me this one, Precalculus. Let me find it. Oh, I haven't downloaded yet because I don't see it. Let me download Precalculus book, save. Now let me try again. So browse my computer right here. Okay, now I submit. Okay, great, it's there. You see textbook? Everybody see textbook here, right? Then,
yeah.
so okay, great. So I create homework number 1 before. So homework number 1. Chapter 2. Chapter 2.1. Chapter 2.1.
What is it? This due?
Next class. Chapter 2. So 2.1.
Before next class?
Before next class, yes. 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 17, 20, 21, 46, 49. Okay, then I submit again. So now you have 4 items under content. You have syllabus. Forget about this.
Let me get up.
Forget about this online homework for now. Let me delete this one. Delete. Okay. Okay, so you don't see the value plus anymore. So you see textbook, then you see homework. So you have 3 items under content. Let me see if anyone has any questions. Right, due before next Wednesday. So next Wednesday, we're going to talk about homework. Right, hopefully some of you can present. Remember I talked about project, change the project to be presenting. So when you present your homework, all right, so I'll give you credits for the 30% of your grades. Let's change that. Let's change the project to be presenting. All right, so let me see, let me here, change project to present, which is 30% of your grades. Let's change this. Okay.
Which homework are we presenting?
You can choose one, choose anyone. So when you do your homework, right? When you do your homework, feel free, choose the one you feel very confident with, then to present, to get this credit. So, right, you have to try to present for each chapter, because totally we're going to cover 11 chapters. So I would think, so each of us present maybe like around 30 times also. Not quite sure if we'll have that many opportunities.
We have to
We'll
present
see.
30 times?
We'll see. We'll
Oh
see.
my God.
We'll see.
Oh.
Don't worry about it yet. Don't worry about that yet, because I don't really know. I don't really know how many times. Maybe.
Let me get a right.
Right. I was just trying a rough calculation here to see, because this many chapters, this many sections. So don't worry about it. Let's go along, to see. All right. Go along to decide. So, but basically, let's change the project, the 30% of the project grades into presentation grades. I think this way is easier to handle. Yes, I'm going to change the, what do you call it? I'm going to change the syllabus a little bit. I'm going to upload a little bit, a new syllabus, change the project to be presentation. Then I'm going to give details about the presentation. So details of presentation, basically you finish your homework, choose one to present to all of us in a class when we meet online. Presentation is to choose one out of your homework, then show us, then explain your work to us when we meet. All right. No, you don't have to make a PowerPoint. Don't make that. Don't make a PowerPoint. If you send, just like when you send me your homework, right? You take pictures, save those pictures on your computer. Then you share screen, just like when I share my screen to you. So when you present, you just share your screen with us. You don't need to make a PowerPoint. Just show us your homework. Then explain to us what you did.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I kind of came in like a minute ago. Where are we submitting our homework? I kind of forgot. Like, I see that we have the textbook there, and we see you put down the problems. Like, where
Right.
would we? Where? I'm kind of.
Okay, great. Let me see. Let me put it over here. That's good reminding for me. So overall, let me see what let's see. Regarding grades, let's put this one. So regarding grades, 20% of attendance, 30% homework, 30% presentation, which is changed from project. Then, so how much now? So this is 80, right? I think 20% homework. Is it 20% homework? Then 30%, you know what? Let's do 30% homework. Then 20% final, all right? I'm going to change the syllabus according to this, since everything has changed. So let's forget about the YB plus for now. Okay, any other questions? So regarding grades, so the grading system, 20% attendance, 30% homework attendance, then 30% presentation, change it from project, 20% final. Attendance means, let me, hold on one second, let me change this so I go to the questions. Attendance means Wednesday plus Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let me see any questions here. Yeah, the page of the homework. So go to CUNY Blackboard content, all right? Content. So we'll put everything there under content. Yes. Meetings on Monday. Oh, no, not Monday, Wednesday. Meetings on Wednesdays and Fridays are mandatory. Well, sometimes you cannot join, watch the video. Okay, I will record, I will try. Sometimes I forget. I will try to record every session. And then if you have to miss, which means you just don't get full credits, 20% of full credits. Okay, any other questions? All right, if no more question, right, let's keep going. So today we learn about functions, try to do your homework. So when you do your homework, you may come up with questions, all right? Write down your questions. So next class, which is next Wednesday when we meet, we will talk about them. For now, look, we're going to use this textbook I loaded here. You see here, textbook on the screen. I'm going to use this textbook as you can download. It's under the content in CUNY Blackboard, all right? You're welcome. So any other questions? All right, if no questions, I'll see you next Wednesday, all right?
Hi. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Before we like exit out, I'm still kind of confused. Like, are we making our own document where we place our answers for our homeworks, or is it like, is there like a
Hold on.
worksheet on it?
Oh, I see. So for homework, right? Okay, I should put over here. Thank you very much for your questions. Your questions help me to do this better. Let me put edit. All right. So homework 1, send to. Let me see. Please send your complete. Please send it to qchan. So I got my email, qchan@guttman.cuny.edu when you finish. Right? So let me put. So homework 1. This is homework number 1 for chapter 2. Does this answer your question? So send your homework. So once you finish, take a picture, send to qchan@guttman.cuny.edu.
All right. So we're making our own document for the homework, is what you're saying.
Yes. Yes. Also, it
Okay.
helps you to present. You present on, during class time.
Okay, definitely. All right. So we're basically what we're doing is we're taking the answer. Well, we're taking the questions, and we're making our own document, putting down our answers, and we're gonna send it to your email. That's what you're saying?
Right.
Okay, cool.
Right. You can
That's
type your answers. Sometimes typing answers is difficult. You can write. You can write on a piece of paper, then take pictures, and make a document. And
okay.
send to
Gotcha.
me, make a copy for yourself also. Okay, great. I think you guys helped me to figure out all this. Wiley plus is troublesome. So section, this is section 2.1. Section 1. All right, let me submit this. What else? Anybody else has any questions? When are we presenting? When next time when we meet? So homework, I should put this too. So homework we'll do next class, and presenting also will happen next class. So regarding presentation, let me see this. Regarding grades, regarding presentation. Okay, you guys have great questions regarding homework and presentation. This is for now. Okay, for now, homework is due next class. Presentation is for next class. Okay, great. Because for next class, there's always good review also. When we go over the homework, it's a good review session. Do we need a microphone and cam for presentation? Yes, you need to speak, right? Or if some of you have problem, but hopefully everyone can speak. Right, presentation, right, we need, I don't know if you need a microphone or camera. For me, I'm using my computer, so my computer has everything. But let me know if you have a trouble, okay? Let me know if you have a problem to present. Okay, the presentation is like this, right? You load up your homework because you have to send to me also, so you save it on your computer. When you present a question, you share screen. You see in this Ultra, they give you share content, like what I was doing. You share your screen with us, then you explain to us what you did. Does it make sense? Yes, how you did it. Yeah.
I don't think they actually let us.
I'm sorry?
There's an option for share content for students, but like I don't think we are actually allowed to share content.
Permission. Right, when you share,
Oh.
I will give you permission to share. For now, right, you're not. Let's see, let's try. Let's see. I'm sorry, how do I call your name? Lola?
Lola, yeah.
Lola,
Lola.
okay. You say I make you a presenter. So now you can share your screen. Do you see that?
Oh, okay, I see. It's just
Yeah.
share file.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Makes
I
sense.
will make you to be a presenter. Okay, great. Okay, anybody else has any questions?
Right. Yes. Excuse me, Professor.
Yeah.
For the homework, does it matter more about like us getting the correct answer or us showing the work?
About showing the work, about your try. I'm not, the grading is not upon how accurate you are. The grading will be upon how much you complete, how much you tried.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, any other questions? Okay, try the homework and see is that okay if I do the homework on a piece of paper? Of course. Then say, yeah. Do what's more convenient for you. Yes. Okay, try the homework. I'll see you next Wednesday. Of course. Okay. I'm not going to tell you right or wrong for all of you individually. So what this is, so next class, right? By next class, you send me your homework already. And we're going to present. So in the presentation, if someone did something wrong, I will point it out. Or if something people do not understand, we could talk about it. All right? That's how we find out, what's the right answer for each question. All right, any other questions? Thank you, guys. Okay, thank you. See you next Wednesday then. Thank you.